Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2020 Jaguar F-Type SVR. Now this has 1085 horsepower, 860 pounds-feet of torque from a 5.4 litre supercharged V8 engine. The car itself weighs 3,102 pounds, still has its all-wheel drive system, but it now has off-road tyres and off-road suspension to go alongside it, and it can only 0 to 16 2.654 seconds, 0 to 100 in 4.968 seconds, and going to a top speed of 249 miles an hour. So this is the second Jaguar that we've had on this series. The only other one we've had has been the XE-SV Project 8, which managed a time that was really rather quite respectable of 3 minutes 19.268. So yeah, going to be looking to see that this can do even better than that. Now weirdly enough, this is the same amount of horsepower that we got out of the Ford F-150 Raptor R, although that had slightly more in the way of torque, but granted that did weigh about 1,700 pounds more than us. So yeah, so despite the fact that this is clearly not an off-road vehicle, I do think it's going to be doing better than that car, because at the end of the day, even the off-road capability stats are pretty high for a car of this type. But on top of that, you've got your braking, which is excellent, launch and acceleration and speed, which are brilliant, and even the handling isn't too bad either. So yeah, on the whole, I'm confident this is going to do pretty well. Yes, it doesn't have a massive amount of power in comparison to some cars, but it is definitely way more powerful than it was originally. I think it's got about 500 horsepower more, so yeah, definitely dealing with more power, but we've certainly got the braking, the handling, and the lack of weight, and the fact that we're quite a small car, which will aid our agility on our side. It's just about whether or not you can deal with the off-road stuff. Now, obviously the stat is one area that makes me think it will, but that is not the be-all and end-all. It's also about how the suspension deals with the bumps and jumps, especially when you're going at high rates of speed. It's one thing to go along this kind of surface at 30-40 miles an hour and take your time. It's a completely different kind of thing when you're doing 100 mile an hour plus. So yeah, gotta be careful. But at the end of the day, this is not a car that is currently inducing a lack of confidence. It's very planted, got 170 plus miles an hour there. It's an excellent car this is, even in stock form, so I'm hoping it'll do well, because yeah, it's easily one of my favourites to be added via the festival playlist. Even if at the end of the day it's just a more performance orientated version of the standard F-Type, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the standard F-Type, so the fact that I am a big fan of this one just shows that those changes have had a dramatic effect. This won't deal with the debris or road furniture or anything like that as well as the F-150 did though, just because the lack of weight means it's got less momentum to punch through such stuff. But that's a very limited amount of time on this course that it will be lost on that. You'll gain way more just from the fact it's more agile and is quicker in terms of acceleration. The F-150 in the slower corners was really rather heavy in the understeer department. Now, I'm not sure if the F-Type was ever made with all-wheel drive in mind, but they've sorted out the car really rather nicely to deal with the all-wheel drive that this car comes with in stock form, so that's also not going to be too much of an issue. Also sounds brilliant with that supercharger winding around. 47 down there is pretty good. We've had a car challenge the top 10 for quite some time, so it would be nice if this could do such a thing. Oh dear, a little bit ahead of ourselves there. Second to last corner. A little bit wide. there we go. So I don't think we're going to chance the top 10 that much, but we are far faster than the XE SV Project A at 3 minutes 15.453 seconds. So yeah, that means we're nearly 4 seconds quicker than that saloon car, which was hardly a slow car at the end of the day. But yeah, 3 minutes 15.453 puts us ahead of the Alfa Romeo 155 Q4, Lamborghini Squadra Corsa Huracan, the Plymouth Fury, Brabham BT62, Lotus Evija, Shelby GT500 from 67, Peugeot 207 Super 2000, and the Extreme E number 44 X44. And it also puts us slightly behind the Ford number 4 Focus RS, which at the end of the day is a rally car, so to be behind that is not bad. But we're also behind the likes of an Aston Martin 177, a Mercedes-Benz 280 SL, BMW iX xDrive 50, and is there any other British cars ahead of us? Yeah, we've got the likes of the MG Metro 6R4, Lotus Emira, Aston Martin DBR1, Morgan Aero GT, McLaren Sabre, and the Lotus 340R, and the Aston Martin Valkyrie at the top of the leaderboard. So yeah, it's by no means the fastest of, well, basically anything really, outside of, you know, being the fastest Jaguar, but still it is a really fun car to drive on this course. And the only real issue it had was that the front end liked to have its nose rise up at times. Not sure why, it just seemed to want to kick up at the front quite a fair few times, which is obviously not helpful because your front wheels are the steering at the end of the day and doing most of the braking, so you don't really want your front wheels doing that. So yeah, we did lose a little bit of time with that, but on the whole, very fast, and far faster than the other Jaguar that we've had on this series so far. So on the whole, fairly impressive, and I'm glad it did as well as it did, given it's one of my favourites in the game. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.